Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, an entitled mother insists that I share my Nintendo Switch with her child on my flight. How to tell my mother to stop putting work onto me. Ever point out something your mother did wrong and you get the silent treatment as a result? Yeah, we're on day 4 of this BS. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. An entitled mother insists that I share my Nintendo Switch with her child on my flight. This just happened the other day, and after sharing this story with friends and family, a few of them suggested that I share it here. The scene is a Southwest airline flight. I was sitting in a window seat next to two lovely women, and directly horizontal from us was an empty seat, a mom and her son. The flight was taking off. For those who don't know, you are required to stay seated and keep your seatbelts on for the beginning of the flight until the captain says otherwise. I was strapped in my seat and decided to take out my Nintendo Switch from my carry-on beneath my feet. Excuse me? Ma'am? I didn't realize at first that the mother in the seats horizontal from me was trying to get my attention. She unbuckled her belt and moved to the empty seat by the aisle, closer to me. Ma'am. With the video game. I lifted my head, but the stranger next to me nudged me as well. That lady wants to get your attention. The woman next to me muttered. I turned my head to see this woman leaning across the aisle with her hands on the armrest of the aisle seat in my row. Sorry, she began. I just wanted to know if there was any way that my son could use that game for a little while. I'm so sorry, I began. My Nintendo Switch is just really important to me. I don't feel comfortable giving it to anyone I don't know. I don't even let my sisters play with it. I was going to continue, but the woman cut me off. Oh, my son's not like most kids, she replied. He's not destructive, his cousin has one of those, and he knows how to play. She smiled and set her hand out. The two women seated next to me looked at me, as if they were also in disbelief. I'm sorry, I said again. I just don't feel comfortable. I brought it for me. How old are you? The woman said with a huff, retracting her hand and slapping it on her lap. I'm 25, but I don't see how that matters. I replied, growing exceptionally uncomfortable. Well, she began, clearly sounding agitated. My son is 8. This is an hour and 45-minute flight and he just wants something to do. He can't see it for a few minutes? No. I am not comfortable with that, I'm sorry, but I'm expecting you to understand since this is my property. I put my head down and I unpaused my game, as to ignore anything she had further to say. Are you serious? She seemed genuinely livid. Well, insert child's name here, sorry buddy. Not everyone knows how to share, the woman said to the kid next to her. Her child started whining and kicking the seat in front of him. Thanks for this. She said to me. A sweet kid just wants to share with you and you're being ignorant about it. Before I even opened my mouth, one of the ladies in my row snapped back at her. How dare you bring that energy on this plane? She told you so kindly that she doesn't feel comfortable with passing her electronics to a stranger. The mother wasn't having it. She's an adult and can't share with a child for a few minutes of a nearly 2-hour flight? You should have brought something for him to do then, the woman in my row responded. It shut her up good. At the end of the flight, the woman collected her luggage from the overhead bins and said, I hope you're happy going against God's word, not sharing with a child. Some of the people around us giggled. I'm sure that they all overheard the drama at the beginning of the flight. I've come across some entitled people in my life, but this strange lady took the cake. I probably would have been put on the no-fly list if this lady did this to me. Good for you for remaining calm. My child isn't destructive, as he then throws a huge temper tantrum and kicks the seat in front of him. I can't with these types of parents. She really had the audacity to call him sweet as he's kicking the seat in front of him. If I were the person in front of him, I would have shoved him in the overhead. In future, don't explain yourself or entertain further harassment. No is a complete sentence. Ask her how you are the bad one, when she is too stupid to bring something for a young child to do on a long plane flight. It is after all the fruit of her loins, and she should be the one taking care of its needs. If she didn't want to have to deal with children, maybe she should not have had one. Sounds more like she is the bad one. Am I the only one here thinking this is an incredibly short flight? I assume because in America you have a lot of national air travel, this must constitute a long flight, but anything less than 2 hours is an absolute win in my books. As a mom, that is ridiculous. Good parents planned for flights with plenty to detract their child. What a piece of work. From the kid's reaction to being told no, that tells me how well behaved good he is. He's probably so destructive that all her furniture and stuff is torn to shreds and broken. If it was that important to her, she should have brought him a game or something to do. She just didn't want to deal with that brat. And then try to blame it all on you because of his reaction, and then quote a non-Bible verse to you. Wow, just wow. I'm glad Uriel makes stuck up for you and that you stuck up for yourself too. These entitled people make me so sick. How to tell my mother to stop putting work onto me. Hi everyone. To start off, my mother, 52F, and I, 20F, have been through a lot together with the separation of my father. He was a narcissist and generally emotionally unstable, and we were his mode of taking his anger out. Generally not a fun person to be around. A couple of months ago they divorced, and with my father being the breadwinner of the house, my mother thought we would have to leave to move into a cheaper house, but was able to swing the bills with the job she has that makes 3x less the amount of money my father has. Money is generally low, but she still makes it work. As the eldest daughter, I feel obligated to step up, and I have since my brother was born. I graduated high school a year early, got accepted straight into a university, and am almost done with finishing my pre-nursing requisites. I work full-time and have a decent car that I pay a loan for. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like I have a lot on my plate. I still live at home and have been trying to move out because since the divorce, my mom has gotten back into dating and she's met a guy. This week alone, she's been at his house for 5 days and I have been with my siblings taking care of them. She does this to me a lot, and I expressed to her over Memorial Day weekend that I didn't want to keep doing this because I feel like a lot of my own time is spent with them. I feel guilty for my dad's emotional absence, and I feel obligated to step up. It's honestly taken a toll on me mentally, and I am just exhausted. I've always felt this way, and now I'm coming to be more aware of it. I feel like my mother is so wound up in her relationship, she just pushes the slack she doesn't put forth onto me, and it doesn't feel fair at all. When I told her I felt like she's asking too much of me, she immediately downplayed it and just totally dismissed my feelings, then said that she needs time to unravel too. I understand where she's coming from and can sympathize because their entire marriage, it was not a good one, was my entire life. I witnessed everything unwillingly. How do I go about this? I'm at a loss. Update: Hey everyone. I really wasn't expecting this post to get the traction that it did, and I have been reading everyone's comments. Thank you for the validation and empathy you all have given to me. At the moment, I'm working out financials and am aiming to leave in August. Till then, I'm going to be picking up more shifts and get some OT to speed up the process. Once she is back from her boyfriend's house, I'm going to have a discussion with her about this, and hopefully things change. I'm trying to process everything, and frankly, it's a lot on my chest. I just feel absolutely awful having come to this realization that she'd been taking advantage of me for so long. Thank you all again. I will continue to update if I have any. Update June 11th, I confronted her today. She blew up on me and talked about how I live here rent-free, which yes, I understand. I had a streak of not doing housework because I was honestly feeling really depressed, and I expressed that to her. She yelled at me and I told her I did not want to be the third parent anymore, and she basically told me that's just what being an older sister is. I don't know what else to say to her. Your mom needs to be on her own for a while. Also, those are her kids, not yours. I would tell her you are not watching your younger siblings, start saving your money and make a plan to move out. Make sure you tell her this up front. Then stick to it. She will try to guilt you. Do not accept it. I wish you lots of luck in your career. They are her children, not yours. Keep reminding her of this and make plans to move away. OP's mother knows the kids are hers. OP needs to start honing her negotiating skills. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. If OP is living rent-free and it allows her to save money, OP can outline what she believes is fair. Mom is wrong, but OP seems to have great empathy that can create a solution that benefits all. Mom should worry how quickly OPs may run out. You are not obligated to do any of these things. None of that was your fault, and it really isn't fair. You need to give her a wake-up call and make sure she knows that her love life doesn't matter more than her kids. You are not the mother, she is. They are her children and her responsibility. She should be having the boyfriend at your house so she can multitask and take care of her children. Make sure you know where he lives so you can drop the kids off there whenever she abandons them with you. If you are so inclined, offer her one babysitting session, a specific max of hours, that's convenient for you, and that's it. She does deserve a relationship, but has to find her own childcare because they are her responsibility. Hey, Mom. Family first. Boyfriend second. You still have children that you're responsible for raising. I understand the excitement of having a new relationship after years of having a bad relationship, but your kids must be your priority. I work full-time and go to school. I don't have the free time to raise your kids. Start becoming very unavailable. Tell her you're studying at the library, working on a school project, working an extra shift, etc. Just stay out of the house as much as possible. You find a roommate and move out. Your siblings are not your responsibility. Of course she needs time. But a much bigger of course is that your siblings are her kids. Not yours. Your best bet is to follow your instincts and find a place to live. Even with roommates, you won't be expected to parent them, will you? As an example, when my now husband and I met, my oldest was 12. She had started babysitting neighbor kids on occasion, but it wasn't till she was 15 that she ever babysat her siblings for overnight. And that was one night, one weekend, with my mom and dad checking in every couple of hours. Your mother seems to have more than a touch of entitlement herself. Congratulations on your hard work paying off. Remember, always, that your biggest job at your age is to make sure that you set yourself up for a fulfilling and healthy adulthood. Not to raise your siblings. Nursing degree is your key to success. Congratulations on doing pre-requirements. As some schools' programs are grade-based, you must put all of your time and energy into school. As a retired RN that delayed my education due to family obligations. Don't. It is a lifestyle changer. If you have to disappoint your mother by not being available, do it. You will be better able to help her in the future with a degree. Be careful and mindful of mind games from your mom. She wants to be footloose and fancy-free, old saying, in order to pursue and be with her boyfriend. Ever point out something your mother did wrong and you get the silent treatment as a result? Yeah, we're on day 4 of this BS. So, when I was younger and did something bad, my mother had this so annoying habit of lecturing me until I was almost blue in the face. This would be fine if she only did it once. She'd lecture me for an hour or so, leave me alone, get a second wind and come right back at me half an hour later. Then I'd get the silent treatment for a day or so. I'd dare to ask her something and she'd find a way to go right back to that same lecture a few more times until I got tired of hearing it. After apologizing so many times, acquired a bored monotone, she'd get enraged, and the lecture reset switch was flipped. Now that I'm older, and she does something wrong, I correct her once, and sometimes, before I can get the sentence out of my mouth, she gets irritated saying, I got it, basically trying to shut me up. I point out the hypocrisy, she goes silent. Usually when I come to visit we talk all the time. Once I pissed her off, however, she refused to say a word for 3 hours. I refused to act like I care and just left. She has not said a word to me in 3 days. And she usually calls me 4 to 5 times a day. Then when she finally needs me for something, she twists it and acts like I'm the one ignoring her, and she's apparently being the bigger person by finally talking to me. I'm so sick of dealing with this, yet NC is not an option. Anybody else dealing with this? Any point in trying to get a 68-year-old to change her ways? I mean, I admit I have extremely petty instincts when it comes to these things, but next time she needs you for something, and she will, just ignore out of her for a while. Honestly, I'm doing it now. I'm enjoying the silence even though I'm just tired of it all. You're an adult now and don't have to take her abuse anymore. Those days are over. Put her on notice. And do not put up with her shit. Sounds like she has solved the problem herself by not talking to you. Sounds good to me. Info: what's holding you back from going NC or even LC? She doesn't seem, based on this post, to actually add value to your life based on how she wants to act like a toddler rather than a grown adult. If she only calls you when she wants something, why stay? She has disabilities that limit her mobility and have wrecked her hands, and she needs me to drive her everywhere because of said disabilities. The trade-off is I get to live in my grandmother's house. That's why I haven't left and feel pretty obligated to stay. Oh boy, I feel this. I used to do this when my kids turned to teens. I knew it was pointless, I could see in their eyes when they stopped listening. I carried on regardless, just wanting to reach them. Thing is, I acknowledge I did this. I admit it was stupid, to them, often. It has become a family joke, lol. Hilarious thing is, my eldest daughter rang the other day. She found herself doing the same thing with her nearly teen son. Oh dear. Sorry, kid. I did that with my daughter exactly once. She said to me, Mommy, stop acting like a spoiled brat, you're a grown adult, start acting like it. Use your effing words. Then she shook herself out, took a deep breath, and re-asked the question. I was stunned and impressed. Afterward, when we were calm and kinda laughing about it, she told me how frustrating it was to deal with me acting like that. I beat stuff to the point of dead horse, but couldn't take criticism without devolving into a middle school girl. Ouch, but true. When explained this way, with common humor, I got how right she was, and I changed. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but it has to want to change. Your mother has to want to change, which she probably won't do without consequences. My dad is just like your mom, from childhood till now. It's beyond irritating and drives me insane. Don't let her continue to verbally/emotionally abuse you, you deserve better. My mother is exactly like this, especially if the subject of mine and my siblings' horrendous childhoods, at her hands, comes up in conversation for some reason. I know, I'm just a terrible mother. I should just go kill myself. Etc. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.